4th chapter from the Yoga Sutra Patanjali's, and now we are in the situation how we can extending our momentary liberations to the ultimate liberations. The momentary liberations we can experience anytime, anywhere. But to extend these momentary liberations, there are one big guy underneath. It's our ego, unhealthy ego. Asmita always try to distract us, distract our mind, distract our emotions. And last 2 weeks I was talking from the Sutra number 7, and Patanjali say that karma ashukla akrishnam yoginaha trividam itaresam. He say that whenever we do these actions to liberate ourselves, we always fall into the 3 categories: the white category, the black category, and the gray category. Black category, it's something unpleasant. White category, something pleasant. Gray category, most of the times happening in our life, it's a combination. And I take one example. For example, my beautiful students asking the doubt. Today morning, beautiful weather. You walk outside with a dog. You know, it's very pleasant temperature, not pleasant temperature, pleasant weather. It's a bright. You walk on the street or in the park, wherever. You want to enjoy it. At the same time, maybe your feet start hurting, maybe the coldness make your fingertips are started to tingling, like a numbness comes, maybe maybe you forget your mudsa, your ears are start freezing, all kind of a little tiny experiences. This is the black spot within the white screen. The white screen is you're walking on the park, you have a beautiful day, you're with the dogs, you feel very pleasant, but within this pleasantness, you always have the unpleasantness. Maybe this, your fingertips or toes, everything's are feeling like uncomfortable. Maybe after walking half an hour, you realize you're already further away from your home and you start getting hungry. But the moment you want to come back home, your dog disappears in the forest. The dog, you're looking for the dogs and you're looking like at the end of the day, you spend instead of 30 minutes spending in the forest, you spend probably 2 hours. So your feet frozen, your fingers frozen. And the question arrives here, how to see this situation? Because sometimes my students are asked that, okay, I know this is very pleasant. I don't want to fall into the pleasantness. If I focus too much into my fingers and all this unpleasantness, it's like you're switching the side. Now your mind's totally focused into the unpleasantness. You're forgetting about the pleasant. So, my father always said that you don't do this one side and another side. The moment I'm completely lost with the pleasantness, I'm forgetting this feeling of the numbness. Is it numbness? We can say that? Okay. I forget of the numbness. I'm only 100% focused into this weather. Or contrarily, other side. Oh, my feet are hurt. And then your mind's completely on your feet. You forget about the weather. We need to bring the both qualities there. That means you be there, you enjoy. At the same time, in some corner in your mind or brain, your sensory perception, you feel the feet. It's like you're enjoying walking. At the same time, feel the feet. Feel the feet. You can move the feet. You don't feel the feet. Oh my God, or maybe I need to do something. This kind of a communication between these two extremes. That's as last week of talking. Within the white screen, you're finding the small black dots. Within the black screen, you're finding small white dots. If you forget one side, that means it's like you already changed to the another, and then you again fall into the unhealthy ego. To train that, it's difficult. Because I'm walking on the forest, beautiful weather. At the same time, I'm not forgetting my feet. I'm still in some corner from moment to moment. I'm just refreshing to feel the feet. But the moment I get lost with my feet, I'm forgetting about the weather. So it's not like a binary 1 and 0. We want to make like a between that 1, 0 and something between. And this in the between, it's a very tricky one because most of the time our life is come into the gray zone. Gray zone means it's a 50% pleasant, 50% unpleasant. It's somehow unclear. It's not clear. Is it in my mind focusing on the weather, the beautiful weather? Is it my mind focusing into my feet? This is the first stage, you come to the context of the gray zone. But the trick here is the clarity of the mind. You have a capacity to observe both of them at the same time clearly. So that's it. Today, my practice, I want to go deeper into that. Because I was reading the sutra number 8, he was talking about that. Tata tad vipaka anugunanam eka abhyaktihi vasananam. He said the 3 types of the actions always leaves imprints. Imprints means when you walk on the mud, you always have the imprints. When it's a snow, freshly snow, hopefully it comes. So when it's a snow, when you walk on the snow, you always leave the imprints. So Patanjali say that every time we fall into these 3 categories, black, white or gray, you always leave the imprints. And these imprints are coming back again and again. So we are like a caught, like a rat caught into this circle, turning and turning and turning. We want to liberate. You use all the power you're turning, but at the end of the day, you're only turning inside of the samsara. Samsara, you're turning and turning. If you happen in this context, you make a little pause button, you break this whatever action you're doing, and you come away from this and do something completely different actions. Let's say your action is bringing your dog to the forest, in the same forest, change the park. Go to the Golisa Park. You have a lot of attentions in the Golisa Park. So, for example, instead of walking on the park, maybe you're visiting a friend. Because the moment you're changing this pattern, you're rewiring your brain. So we now come back to the neuroscience. What neuroscientists say that every time we have these 3 categories, black, white, gray, all this impression, all this experience are stored as a form of the memory in the center of the brain, the limbic system, which we don't want to happen. What we want to happen, every time we experience, we want to cultivate in the prefrontal cortex, which is without attachments, without aversions. You don't do attach, and at the same time you don't rejecting. So it's like both combinations is a very tricky one. Like exactly the example I gave from the Stephanie's example. You walk on the park, beautiful weather, at the same time finding some unpleasantness. Let's say in the condition you don't have a numbness in the feet, numbness in the ear. You feel excellent, great. Look something else. Maybe it would be fantastic if all the tree greens. You're creating some sort of illusions. This is the one, like I'm saying, that's the black spot. You're creating purposely something unpleasant, because when you're creating purposely the unpleasant, it's a neutralizing so that you don't too much attach. Because tomorrow may be different weather. Tomorrow can be Berlin weather. Totally opposite, gray. And then we will suffer. Why? Because to attach, today we express our senses, capture it, store in our memory, and tomorrow when it's not happening, and we suffer. That's why we need to use the prefrontal cortex. The moment you use the prefrontal cortex, you'll be always in the neutral. So today practice, I will go towards the activation prefrontal cortex, and cultivating prefrontal cortex, it's the make us human. We are not animal, we are human. Difference between animal and human is because of prefrontal cortex, the most developed brain, and we need to cultivate more. The Vyakyati, that is, he said Vyakyati. That's a term he used that. Yeah, Vyakyati. This term means we use our prefrontal cortex. Okay, clear? So let's we go towards that, and every time you fall into these 3 categories, white, black, gray, look for these opposite qualities. Look for the opposite qualities. If you fall into the gray zone, remember, gray zone is like a zombie state. You don't know clear or clear, unclear. Am I happy? Am I sad? If you have in this state, break the patterns, take the break, do something else, because it's like a shaken up and come back again. Or when you do your yoga practice, you just do like a little make sound. Ha! Pa! This kind of sounds my father always do during the practice, because it's breaking our brain patterns so that it don't go deeper into the limbic system, it come to the prefrontal cortex. So today I will make a lot of sharp sound. Don't get scared. Any pregnant? Any person, don't get scared with the sounds. If during the practice very smooth and suddenly I make some clap sound or a pop sound, anything, don't get scared. This is just to break our patterns, come back to the prefrontal cortex. Good? Let me start the practice.